Welcome into Vandy on SI. I'm Tyler Jordan, joined by Graham Bacco, following Vanderbilt's 88 to 56 win over Mississippi State on the road. Graham, a really big win for the Commodores. After the three-game losing streak, they improved to 4-3 in the SEC, and looked back to themselves somewhat here today.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, I think this was a game where they needed to win. In my mind, this was a must-win game in the sense that number one, you need to feel good about yourself, and number two, this is a Mississippi State team that is, I mean, let's just be honest, they're at the bottom tier of the SEC right now. This team is not a team that's going to make a tournament. So this is a game that you should win, and if you're going to compete at the top of the SEC, you have to win these games. Like teams against LSU, like against South Carolina, Mississippi State. You got others coming up on the schedule that you just can't lose, and Vanderbilt's taking care of business. And I mean, man, I think the story of this game has to be the early blitz that Vanderbilt just put on Mississippi State. I mean, offense, defense, just executing at just an unreal rate. I mean, just starting the game up 14-4 within 4.5 minutes or 5.5 minutes, and then before long, it's all of a sudden it's 22-4. So it's like I just saw offense, defense was just firing on all cylinders. I mean, I thought Tyler Tanner, he goes up 6 for 6 to start the game, 14 points, 2 for 2 from three. And then of course, I mean, at one point actually when he had 14 points, it was Tyler Tanner 14, Mississippi State 13. So he was outscoring Mississippi State by himself in the early going. And
Mhm.
of course, Vanderbilt, of course, just continuing to just pile on the takeaways and the points off turnovers. So what I noticed when I thought I was at, which was actually pretty funny, was they had more points off turnovers by the first media timeout in this game than they did all game against Arkansas. So in the first 4 minutes, they had 10 points off turnovers. Meanwhile, against Arkansas, they only had 6 points off turnovers, which is just fascinating to me. And so, when just the turnovers, they're able to take the ball away 5 times in the first few minutes, and just capitalize on just every single time. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say? Just this was a game they needed, and just really just wow, just how effective they were.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I think something that often happens with these morning games, I mean, it's an 11 a.m. Central Time start. Uh, they're scary because a lot of times they're not their normal routine. The guys don't get to go through their normal prep for the day. They have to wake up earlier than normal before the games, and we see it across the country. Normally, teams will have some of their worst games of their seasons at those either 11 or 12 o'clock starts. And I think Vandy did a really good job not letting that happen today. Something else that was really impressive. Yes, they still got out rebounded on the offensive glass, but it was better than it has been. They got 5 offensive rebounds, and there were a couple big points where like they were getting good looks, but missing the good looks and then getting an offensive rebound and putting it back for points still. Which again, we've talked about their physicality and how it's kind of been lacking the last couple games, but proving to themselves that they can get rebounds off the offensive glass is a good sign.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and again, I don't want to I want to be careful with not overhyping this win because you don't want to downplay this win, but I don't want to overhype this win because again, we have to sort of not act like they just beat a top ranked team or anything like that. So I think this is a game where you expected them. Although I mean, what were the final rebounding numbers? It was pretty even throughout the game. The
Thirty-six,
ending numbers.
34, Vanderbilt.
Okay, so Vanderbilt did end up winning the rebound. So, okay, so that's a game where I think you would probably expect them to win or at least get close to winning the rebound battle, which they did. I think if you're getting out rebounded by a team in Mississippi State that is what 2-5 in the SEC now, I think that may be more cause for concern. But again, the front court has just in the depth of the front court has been a concern since conference play has started. But no, so when you were able to get on the offensive glass and win the rebounds. That's always a great sign. And, again, I think another storyline in this game was Duke Miles. 7 steals, although, again, he did get in some foul trouble. I think he finished with 4 fouls in the game, which I think that's something he's got to deal with and fix throughout conference play as it goes on. But, he's able to get 7 steals, which, as we see, as we get a text from the spokesman, which is the most in a game by Commodore since James Strong since 1998. So, it's the first time in 28 years that a Vanderbilt player has gotten this many steals in a game. So I think when you have guards like Tyler Tanner, Duke Miles, and Tyler Nickel, that number one not only can give you so much production on the offensive end, but then on the defensive end can take the ball away, get down the court, get back into transition, time and time again. I mean, I think that just shows just how dangerous this Vanderbilt offense can be, and just how this also the defense can be as well. Because if you're able to get good guard play on both sides of the ball going into March, February, March, I mean that's one of the best and most important pieces that you can ask for a team that can go into a deep run. And by the way, let's not mention that Frankie Collins is still waiting to come back. So, and of course, let's not forget that he's a great piece of that defense as well. So I think just the defensive aspect to me and the defensive guard play is what has really impressed me. And Duke Miles, yet again, he does it again today.
Yeah, I mean, if Vanderbilt want to play good defense against some of these better SEC teams, I mean, you mentioned how Mississippi State's not really one of those teams. If they want to compete with those better SEC teams down the road and going into the SEC tournament as well, they're going to need Duke Miles and Tyler Tanner to put up those kinds of steal numbers. I mean, they're leading the SEC right now in steals, those two by themselves. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that going for sure. I think another thing that stands out is the bad shots that they were forcing Mississippi State to take. They were getting long shot clock for Mississippi State. The defensive presence was pretty good today, making them throw up some bad shots. I mean, Mississippi State shot 34%, but only 19% from three-point land. So they were putting up shots that really weren't high percentage shots for them. They went 5 for 26 from three, Mississippi State did. So forcing those good shots and contesting them too, I think was the big thing. We've seen the last three games, they've been leaving
Yep.
guys open on the perimeter, not closing out quick enough, looking
Yep.
kind of slow on defense. Today they were jumping around, getting out, closing out pretty well against Mississippi State.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the ball pressure that Vanderbilt put on Mississippi State early on. I mean, I think that really shell shocked Mississippi State, and I don't know if they were just ill prepared or they didn't really see it coming or what, but they just looked stunned for the from the first few minutes of just how Vanderbilt was just pressuring them defensively. And I think maybe that pressure that they were facing from Vanderbilt sort of made them go into just maybe confusion on offense or what have you. But I'm sure it had some sort of effect as to these longer shot clocks, these badly bad shot selection, right? And so I think it just all goes back to just the defensive effort that Vanderbilt had. This was a defensive effort that we did not see whatsoever against Arkansas the other day. I mean, Arkansas was flying just right through Vanderbilt's defense the entire game. And I mean Byington called that an embarrassing performance, and they just did a total 180 today, especially on defense. But obviously offense didn't have the great performance the other day as well, but I think defensively is really where they stepped up.
Yeah. I think the one other thing that I want to touch on, Joey and I talked about it on Wednesday on the podcast, but I think even when you win these couple games, and you touched on it a little bit earlier, even when you win these games that you're probably supposed to win, it doesn't mean all your problems have been solved yet. And I still think that's the case. I mean, we've talked so much about the foul trouble. You had Duke, Miles, and Mike James both with four fouls. McLaughlin had three. Yes, you didn't have anyone foul out, but again, you got to play those guys less minutes because of the score line. So you have to still be considering foul trouble. And we've talked on the physicality and having to play McLaughlin at the center. The rebound numbers were maybe even still too close for comfort against that Mississippi State team. So, yes, it's a good win for Vanderbilt. Yes, they won by 32 points, but still, there's a lot that they have to focus on, a lot that the team they're coming up against that they're going to be playing are going to be looking at what went wrong against Florida, what went wrong against Arkansas, what can we do notice from those games to put pressure on this Commodore teams. And the question for Mark Byington and the team is, can they make adjustments to those things quick enough in time before those bigger games come up?
Yeah, this might be a question that we, could ask Byington pretty soon. But I just wonder what the fix is to this foul trouble because it is very consistent and very prevalent in just about every single game down
Mhm.
the stretch here. I mean, you got guys with four foul. I mean, Duke Miles has fouled out, I believe, tw once or twice in SEC games so far, and then today you got four fouls, which is very close to fouling out again. Mike James, of course, gets fouled. McLaughlin's been in foul trouble almost, I think, feels like every SEC game he's been in foul trouble. I mean. So, what's the fix here? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, especially with the reffing crew and officials, you never sort of know what they're going to call and how they're going to let the guys play. So, I don't exactly know the fix there, but something has to sort of be fixed there because, again, when you get in foul trouble every game, especially in the front court and with the limited depth that they have in the front court, that's going to cause a lot of issues when you're going to have to go against teams like Tennessee and Georgia later on in conference play, and also having to play A&M and Auburn as well. So there's got to be some sort of fix. But again, I think defensive rebounding has to be fixed, or rebounding as a whole has to be fixed. But I'm gonna put a column out here probably Monday or so, which is I think Vanderbilt has a real opportunity here to take advantage of the upcoming schedule because you've got Kentucky, then you've got Oklahoma and Ole Miss, and then I believe who's after the Ole Miss, A&M, I believe. So you got opportunity here where you have SEC teams that aren't ranked right now, but and it's also a situation where you should win. So I think Ole Miss they should win, Oklahoma they should win, Kentucky at home. I would think that Vanderbilt should be favored in that. Kentucky has sort of turned their season around a little bit here with Tennessee and Texas wins, but I think Kentucky is certainly a winnable game. I think A&M at home for Vanderbilt is certainly winnable because I don't. I got to see A&M beat teams like Florida and Alabama to start to sort of buy them as a legit SEC title contender for me. So I think when you look at Vanderbilt's schedule coming up, you have, the SEC is 18 game conference schedule. You have 6 games. This was, sort of the middle six starting here because you have game 7 today. Then you have the end of season, which is the final 6 games. So I think this middle 6 games right here is where
Yeah.
Vanderbilt can really take advantage and
Mhm.
not only improve its SEC regular season title chances, but also improve its, seeding for March Madness, whether it be going from a 4 seed to 3 seed or what have you, because when you look at this 3 games projection, they've sort of dropped to, some projections have them as a 4 seed March Madness. Some have even dropped them as a five I've seen. So I think this stretch coming up basically from now until mid-February. So these next 2 weeks go, figure a week or two, or give or take, I think is very important. And I think they need to come out these next 5 games either 4-1 or 5-0, I think.
Yeah, definitely. All right, as you mentioned, next game Tuesday night, 8 p.m. on ESPN, and we'll have tons of coverage on Vandy on SI for you against Kentucky. Big Blue Nation travels well. I'm sure it'll be a pretty split crowd, but I'm sure we'll have a good amount of Vanderbilt support as well. But excited for that one. I'm Tyler Jordan. I'm with Graham Bacco, and this has been our rapid reaction to Vanderbilt's 88-56 win over Mississippi State. We'll catch you soon and follow on Vandy on SI for more updates.